Hi everyone, and I'm AJ Grossman, and welcome back to my studio. Several months ago on my blog, I was talking about how to use magazines to transfer. To use it and transfer with encaustic wax. And I got lots of questions, and finally I'm about to make a video so I can share this with you. I don't use any images in my work, so these were the pieces, if you remember. This is the clean one, and this is strips of magazine paper transferred on. I just want to use the color. This was like the dirty one. As you can see, it has a different feel to it. I'm going to set up the studio. I'm going to demonstrate this technique because I know you're going to want to use it and incorporate it into your own artwork. I'll be right back. Okay, everybody, we're back, and I just have here a piece of a cradle board. It's an old one. It has about 4 or 5 coats of encaustic medium. I always tint my encaustic medium with a little bit of white in it. It's just something I like. Not necessarily do you have to do that. And this is how we begin. I basically go through the magazine, and of course, who does not love Tiffany blue? And I decide that this is something I want to use. So as you can see, I like circles, so I cut out a lot of circles just from color out of the magazine, because that's all I want to do is utilize the color. So we're going to take this one piece, and I'm just going to cut it like this. And I'm just going to heat up my board a little bit. You don't have to. This board's been sitting around for a long time. I keep a lot of boards around in the studio just for testing, so I'll just sit one day and just make a lot of blocks or just a lot of wood, because I'm going to sample them. And if I don't like them, you know, the great thing about the encaustic is I can just recycle it and reuse it. So I just put a little heat on the board. It's really not that hot at all. I'm going to take that piece and I'm just going to put it, because this is just a demo. And what I'm going to use, this is a bone folder, but I actually have this tool that came in a kit with a lot of pottery tools, and the reason why I like it is, I don't know if you can see, this tip kind of bends a little, and my finger just fits really nicely in there. And I'm just going to keep on, rubbing this piece on it. You can use a spoon. There's a lot of different things that you can use. If I did use the bone folder, here's another thing. I did find that a bigger area with a spoon or a brayer was able to give me the color smoother. Sometimes it was scratchy. Every piece was different, but I kind of like that. I like how it's haphazard. So we just rub. And like everything else, you just keep rubbing and rubbing some more. I'm going to go back to that in a minute. I'm just going to show you the other one that I did. So that looked like this one that I said looks dirty. And why that is because I use sandpaper instead. So here we're going to do it on the same piece. I have a yellow piece right here. I'm just going to put it next to it. I'm going to rub again because I really want to embed it in. But I'm also going to use a fine grit sandpaper. And that's going to help take some of the backing off. It does give a different effect. And what you're going to see is, when I'm rubbing with it, the sandpaper, and this is, I believe, a 220 or 320 grit. You want a fine grit. It kind of makes a mess. And you see, I'm getting this dirty look around it. And you may like that, and I happen to like that on that one particular painting. If I didn't, I can actually scratch it off. The nice thing about this, it thins the paper, it's easier to transfer. But if I don't like that, I can take any of my tools and I can kind of scrape that away if I really wanted to. So that's up to you. But I have not found a way to eliminate that black from the sandpaper. So I can just keep rubbing. And with a transfer like this, a lot of times it will pick up again. I do use the glossy magazines, so they are thick. And I am a bit of a fashionista, so all these come from like Vogue and Harper's Bazaar and Elle, but they have really great saturated colors. So I'm just going to keep on rubbing. And on this one, I'm just going to continue to rub and rub and rub. And sometimes I rub it a lot and sometimes I don't. Everyone's different. I know when I do it more like this, I get more scratchy look. When I go more like this, I get more of the color to lay in. So I have also done this on cold wax as well as very warm wax. I find that the wax just needs a little bit of temperature on it. If it's too warm, you're going to end up pushing into the wax, and you don't really want to do that. So let's see if that's enough. Of course, we're going to use water now, and we're going to saturate the area. And just like when any other general transfer, we're just going to use the water, and we're going to rub off the back. Some items lift off easier than others. Don't be too aggressive because you can remove what you just transferred on. So please be gentle with it. And as you can see, because of the sandpaper, it also makes the water black. So it, it just has that effect on it. But here it is, transferred really nice, almost solid. Here's this one here. This one probably needs a little bit more water. It's a little bit more. I pulled up some of it. And that's just me being a little too aggressive. But that beautiful Tiffany blue is coming up. Really easy. Paper, like I said, the sandpaper just comes up a little easier because I am taking off that back layer of it with the sandpaper, so it does come off a lot easier. You can cut any shape you want. I can design with it. I'm trying to figure out, what do I want to do with this? Because sometimes the idea sits in my head for a very long time until I actually get motivated to do it. I like the fact that I can recycle all the magazines that come into the house. So here you can see, let me get a piece of paper. So now we're just going to take some water. Take a paper towel, just clean it up. If I want, I can continue rubbing this off. As you can see here, I do have some of the black from the sandpaper. I can just go back in if I want and scrape off that areas if I want to clean it again, to clean it up. The other thing I do, on some of them I do put heat back on them, and some of them I don't. Depends on how I feel it transferred. Just be very careful. I do tend to put a little bit of heat just to fuse it in. If you get too close on it, very, very light fuse, you will disseminate the image. So if I do hold that in there, I can start breaking apart, as you can see, the image transfer. If you want to do that, that's fine. You're the artist, it's your choice. If not, then be careful with your heat. I know you've probably enjoyed this. Please ask me any questions. I'll gladly explain it. And happy transferring.